highlighting the main points of the BJP manifesto. There are 24 guarantees listed in the BJP manifesto. Pragya, our colleague, now joining us. Pragya, some of the main points is the implementation of the UCC. People were saying that the BJP will shy away from mentioning it in its manifesto, but that is not the case. The Prime Minister also promising through the manifesto, one nation, one election. And those who think that the crackdown on corruption will soften after the polls, that is clearly not the case. He says we will go after the corrupt. Pragya.
Absolutely, it's an attack from the Prime Minister, by the Prime Minister, in fact, on those who are indulged in corruption. And this is purely an attack on the opposition leaders who have been crying hoarse about the investigation and about the arrests that have been made by investigation agencies recently. All those parties are saying that BJP had become autocratic and they are using these agencies. This is a reply to all those. Prime Minister said that the punishment will only become severe against those who are indulging in corruption. This is a straightforward message that Prime Minister has given to all these leaders. Apart from that, Prime Minister has also spoken about UCC, that implementation of UCC is the core ideology of BJP, and then BJP will in fact implement it. Apart from that, Prime Minister has also reposed faith in people of the country and said, when we come back to power, we have already prepared an action plan. It is impossible to stop Bharat now, and the new Bharat, there is a new vision of the Bharat that we will see in 100 days of the governance after the Prime Minister said they will come back to power. Absolutely clear vision on what the focus areas are here. He has focused on Nari, Yuva, Kisan and also poor. All the development scheme will continue. They in fact will be extended like Ayushman Bharat. We have told our viewers yesterday that there is going to be announcement about Ayushman Bharat. Senior citizen above age of 70 will now be included in that, including transgenders. Apart from that, there are many important announcements that have been made by the Prime Minister. Prime Minister has said that the Karodpati Didis, focus on women is the core at the heart of the Sankalp Patra, be it Karodpati Didis, be it drone Didis, aiding the agriculture, tech-related agriculture and using women in ensuring that is a big step of this government.
Manifesto for 4 castes, youth, women, poor farmers, as the Prime Minister reiterates in all his public addresses. Just stay with us, Pragya. Let's open this up quickly. Dr. Anand Ranganathan also joining us. Sir, good morning. What is your first impression of this manifesto? Is this manifesto going to guarantee 400 par?
Good morning, Pranesh. A very good morning to you and to all your viewers. I don't know about that, but I think the fact of the matter is that the vision that the Prime Minister brought on the table in 2014, this is the next step. Half the job is done. And I think you could see from the confidence of his tone, the kind of things that he was talking about. He himself knows, and he talked about this, Pranesh, way before 2014 as well, in 2009. When he talked about, I'm going to make this nano class. The first 10 years since 2014 have been building that nano class. And if you look at the kind of developments that have happened, I'll just give you a very small glimpse of it. In the last 10 years, 120 million toilets have been built. Every new built toilet has saved the household 52,000 rupees in health expenditure. 110 million tap connections have been provided. Diarrhea deaths under 5 have come down by half. 100 million gas connections have been secured. 150,000 lives are being saved directly as a result of this, because household pollution is the biggest cause of infant mortality. 330 million health cards have been given. 65 million Indians have been operated upon through this health card. So the point of the matter is that now that the aspirational class is there, a good, strong 250, 300 million people have been provided with these amenities. What do we do for the next 10 years or 15 years? This manifesto talks about that, and talks over and above what has happened in the last 10 years. For example, if you look at the GDP per capita, PPP inflation adjusted, it was 3,800 rupees in 2014. Today, it is almost double, 6,200. In 2014, inflation was 10%. Today, it is 5%. In 2014, multidimensional poverty as a percentage of population was 29%. Today, it is 11%. In 2014, FDI was 305 billion. Today, it is 650 billion, double. There were 74 airports in 2014, today are 149. So I can go on and on, but universities have been doubled, highways, incredible amount has been done. The point of the matter is he is looking ahead. He is looking not just 5 years ahead. And this is what is scary for the opposition. Now that this aspirational class is ready, he is looking 15, 20 years ahead.
Okay. Doctor, you know, I have the manifesto here, the full 76 pages, and we'll do a deep dive also with you, expound on some of the points that you mentioned in your opening remark. Let me quickly bring in our colleague Mohit. But Mohit, you are there at that, launch. You are at the BJP headquarters. What is the buzz? What is the mood?
Well, right now, Pranesh, we are reporting from the BJP headquarters extension, and there were a host of issues that were being talked about by the Prime Minister. But Pranesh, the focus was Gyan combination, Garib, Yuva, Andata and Nari, which Prime Minister has been talking about for a long time. And the one important part of this particular manifesto was that the women who were the beneficiaries, went to the state. They were given a copy of that.
Okay, in fact, we are speaking to one of the beneficiaries. Amit, in fact, Mohit is himself speaking to the beneficiary.
छत्तीसगढ़ में मतलब समूह में स्वच्छता समूह चला रही हैं और फिर शौचालय मिला है प्रधानमंत्री
आज प्रधानमंत्री ने अपने हाथ से आपको मैनिफेस्टो की कॉपी दी, कैसा लगा?
अच्छा लगा।
क्या बोला प्रधानमंत्री ने और आपने क्या बोला कि क्या आगे जाके क्या करना है, आपने क्या क्या
जाके अच्छा अच्छा काम करना है, हमको अच्छा लाभ मिले। हम लोग भारतीय जनता पार्टी में काम कर रहे हैं।
कहाँ से है आपका नाम?
मेरा ईश्वरी देवांगन।
तो आपको जब बोला गया कि प्रधानमंत्री से आप मिलेंगे, मैनिफेस्टो की कॉपी प्रधानमंत्री आपको देंगे, कैसा लगा था तब आपको?
लगा।
क्या क्या सुविधाएं हैं आपको महिलाओं को जो मिली है वो बताइए।
महात्मा योजना, प्रधानमंत्री आवास, उज्जवल गैस और फिर नल जल जीवन।
प्रधानमंत्री ने महिलाओं की बात की कि किस प्रकार से शौचालय बनना, महिलाओं को लोन मिलना, वो सब कितना फायदा हुआ है महिलाओं को ग्राउंड पे, खास तौर पे महिलाओं के उत्थान में लखपति दीदी योजना का कितना फायदा मिला है?
जी हमको बहुत फायदा मिला है। हम लोग ना स्वसहायता समूह चलाते हैं, लोन लेते हैं। थोड़ा मेरे
आप बताइए आप बताइए कैसा लग रहा है प्रधानमंत्री से मिलकर?
नीलावती मौर्य, मैं बस्तर जिला से आई हूँ। मैं नीलावती मौर्य बोल रही हूँ। हमारे बस्तर जिला में मोदी जी का इतना वो काम हो रहा है। सब
आज प्रधानमंत्री मिले, आपसे क्या कहा उन्होंने?
क्या कहा? वो अपने वो प्रधानमंत्री जी बोले आप कहाँ से हैं? हम लोग बोले बस्तर से आई हूँ, मेरा नाम है नीलावती मौर्य। फिर अब मिले थे मेरे को बोले
कौन सी योजना का लाभ आपको मिला है?
हम लोग का शौचालय मिला है, महात्मा वंदना मिल रहा है, अभी गैस सिलेंडर मिला हुआ।
There you heard Pranesh. Now these are the beneficiaries over here who basically say that the host of facilities, host of the schemes of the government that they have been provided with, and they are all the beneficiaries who have come over here, who have invited over here. They have met the Prime Minister, and after meeting the Prime Minister, they basically say that they are very happy given the fact that how Prime Minister's schemes have reached out to people on the ground. They are very happy given the fact that they have been called over here, and they also say that the Prime Minister has asked them to take the message forward, that what exactly...
Just stay with us. Senior Executive Editor Padmaja Joshi also joining us. Padmaja, good morning. Your impression of the BJP Sankalp Patra, 24 guarantees.
It's very interesting coming as it does, Pranesh, on the back of the Congress's manifesto. Remember, two things have been attacked in the Congress's manifesto. One, the so-called debate about freebies. The fact that Rahul Gandhi has promised 1 lakh in the account of every person. Where is that money going to come from? That is the question being asked. Take a look at the entire manifesto, Pranesh, and there is no mention of any kind of doles or freebies. They have said that we are going to extend the free ration being given to poor. But otherwise, the focus is on long-term development and on empowerment of people. The Prime Minister very significantly said that we want self-reliance and employment through investment. So he's saying we are going to enable you, we are going to empower you, and in the long term, we want people to become self-reliant. Another important scheme that he has reiterated is the Pradhan Mantri Surya Yojana, where again he's saying, we want to make your Bijli bill zero, but we are not going to make, go down the route of the Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress, but we want that you basically get harness solar power. And over time, not only does your electricity bill become zero, but you also then are able to make money off it. Of course, a lot of focus is going to be on the issues of UCC that he has spoken of, one nation, one election that he has spoken of. These are all larger changes. But in terms of development, in terms of people-friendly schemes, a lot of focus has been kept there as well. Forecast that Times Now has, spoken of. In fact, earlier, Times Now team had also said that this is pretty much the motto of the BJP. The Prime Minister, when he first said, "मेरे लिए चार जातियां हैं, गरीब, किसान, महिला, and youth." And pointedly, the manifesto release also incorporated all of these four people. And the manifesto then is broken up in the categories to say, here is how we are going to empower these four castes that the Prime Minister highlighted. So word for word, if we were to compare the BJP and Congress manifesto, the whole idea of caste census that the Congress has spoken of, pointedly he said, for me, these are the four castes. These are the people I'll work for the welfare of, and the mission is for 2047.
Padmaja, let me put you in a spot. You're just back from Pol Yatra. You've been speaking to people on the ground. Of the 24 guarantees and several highlights, which is the one game changer point that you think? Is this the extension of the free ration scheme for the next 5 years, or the healthcare benefit of those above 70 years?
I can't claim to speak for how people across the country are thinking, but off the top of my head, I would say that for the Congress, the one thing that is finding resonance is the 1 lakh. Obviously, people straight off the bat do think, oh, I'm going to get 1 lakh in my account. For the BJP, though, and again, this has been, also highlighted in the manifesto, Pranesh, it is the whole image of self, the image of Bharat. What else has the Prime Minister spoken of? He said, we will have the Antariksh station. We will land a man on the moon. We will soon host the Olympics. So, much as people may scoff at it, but speak to the people on the ground, Pranesh, the poor would be happy saying, okay, my Kisan Samman Nidhi is coming, my free ration is coming, etc. But even they are not just talking about the free ration. They are saying, देश में देखो हमने क्या किया है. आज हमारी देश का pride है. हम ये करने वाले हैं. हमने जंग का क्या किया है. So that whole sense of, बढ़ता भारत and the image of the country is finding resonance on the ground. Over to you.
Okay, Padmaja, thanks for, that quick insight. Dr. Ranganathan, if I were to ask you, how do you compare the two manifestos? The BJP manifesto that has no section for minorities and the Congress manifesto that has a section for minority. Does that make the BJP anti-minority?
If one can compare chalk and cheese, then yes, surely, Pranesh, one can compare the two manifestos. But I think Padma raised a very important and pertinent point. And I think here, it's not just that the BJP might be slightly different from Congress and its overall outlook and the future, as far as it wants India to be in terms of welfareism and freebism. I think going forward as a nation, 1.4 billion people have to answer this question, which in fact 2 years ago the Supreme Court said the most important question that needs to be answered in India is what qualifies as a freebie and what qualifies as a welfare. So this is the question that I'm afraid not even the BJP has had the strength to answer it directly, because let's be very honest about it. Repealing of the farm laws was one of the biggest freebies. For the Congress, reverting to the old pension scheme was the biggest freebie. When you have appeasement, that is when you blur the line between welfareism and freebie. So while the BJP also is doing a lot of things that the Congress has promised, and the BJP is accusing the Congress of indulging in freebism, the fact also remains that, for example, the BJP doesn't talk about privatization, whole-scale privatization, for example, of the nationalized banks. The BJP doesn't talk about a lot of other things that it needs to. Farm reforms, for example. These are the few things. If you, for example, look at 250 to 300 million people are involved in agriculture. These are the reforms that BJP brought, and unfortunately, because it succumbed to the prevailing Luddism of Congress and other opposition parties that in fact had promised these very reforms in their manifestos, if you remember. So I think going forward, this is the toughest decision that even BJP has to take, that it has right now not taken.